Jenny. Thank you. All right, so now we're going to do our bells from our partner church. Can you hear them okay? A little bit? So welcome. I'm so glad to see you all here at Family Chapel this morning, and welcome to the people who are watching us online this morning. We're so glad to have you here today too. I am the Reverend Dana Edwards, and my pronouns are she and her. And we are gathered here today at Cedar Lane Unitarian Universalist Church in our sacred chapel, which has borne witness to so many passages of leaving and coming into the world. And as we're on the land of the Nacotchtank people, from which the name Anacostia is derived. And this morning we can light our chalice with our chalice lighting words. Do I have somebody who would like to come up and light the chalice? Come on up. And we'll say our words together. We are Unitarian Universalists. We are the church of the open mind, of the loving heart, and the helping hands, and together we care for the earth and work for friendship and peace in our world. Thank you all for doing that with me. And now is the time in our service where we share our joys and our sorrows, the things in this week that have made us happy or sad, the things that have brought us joy, or the things that have filled our hearts with sorrow. And so to share a joy or a sorrow, you're going to come up here and take a stone, and you can think of your joy or your sorrow and put it into the stone, and then place it in the water. And the ripples in the water are a symbol of the ripples that our joys and sorrows make in the lives of everybody around us and in the world. So if you'd like to come up and put in a joy or a sorrow into our bowl, you can do that now. And if you'd like to say what it is, you can too. Mm-hmm.
I have a sorrow because at my mom's work, someone very important died.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm so sorry. Other joys and sorrows? I have a joy. Today is the 11th birthday of my daughter, Chloe. Yay. Are there any other joys or sorrows that people would like to share? You don't have to share it out loud. If you just want to put a stone in, you can also do that. For all the joys and sorrows that are in our hearts but are left unspoken, I'll place another stone into the water. Good morning. So now is the time for our story for all ages. And this morning we're celebrating springtime rituals and springtime celebrations. So I thought I would tell the story, an ancient story from ancient Greece, actually, or ancient Greece. This is an ancient story about the transition to springtime. So this story is called Persephone. Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, in the time of the gods and the goddesses, there lived a goddess named Demeter. And Demeter had a daughter named Persephone. And Persephone was one of the most beautiful women in the whole world. She was just amazing. Everybody said how beautiful she was, how beautiful she looked. And everybody loved her, and everybody wanted to be her friend. And Demeter loved her the most because Demeter was her mother. And Demeter was very protective of her because she knew that Persephone was beautiful, and she wanted to protect her and protect her beauty. So she didn't really let Demeter play with other people very much. And one day, the god of the underworld, the Greeks believed that when people died, they went to something called the underworld, and there was a god of the underworld, and his name was Hades. Who here has heard of Hades before? Yeah, because he was in a movie recently. What was that movie? He was in Hercules, yeah. What else? What other movie was he in? You can just call it out.
He was in one of the Percy Jackson movies.
Percy Jackson, what else? Just call it out.
Well, the Greeks, even though Hades was like the god of the underworld, a lot of people thought that Hades was like a really evil bad guy, but that wasn't completely true. I mean, he had done some bad things, but that's not completely true. That is a really...
Right, yeah. People and gods and goddesses are complicated. Nobody's all good or all bad. Go ahead, you can just say.
There's also Descendants.
Descendants. Yep. Was it any other movies that he was in recently?
He was in probably most of Descendants, like Descendants 1 and Descendants 2, and maybe Descendants 3.
Yeah.
Descendants 3 for sure, but not in the first one.
Yeah, he was a main character in Descendants 3. So, and Mal, we discover in Descendants 3 that Mal is his daughter. So, now in this story, we're going to talk about Hades as kind of a bad guy. But as Leo said, he's not all bad. Nobody is all bad. So Hades saw Persephone and saw how beautiful she was, and he wanted to keep her all for himself. So he took her without his mother's permission, without her mother's permission, and took her to the underworld. And Demeter was looking all over and couldn't find her beautiful daughter Persephone, and she was so sad. And I should mention here that Demeter was the goddess of fertility and the goddess of the harvest, which means she helped make sure that there was enough food for everybody and that there was beautiful things were always coming into the world. So Demeter got so sad that she couldn't find her daughter that she stopped caring about her duties as a goddess to make the world bloom and to bring many things into the world. And so in the human world, there was nothing to eat because there was no harvest and there was no flowers, there was no beauty in the world, and everybody was so sad. And so finally Zeus, who was like the god of all gods, right? Yeah, he said, Demeter, you have to bring beauty back into this world, and we need a harvest. The humans need a harvest, or else they're not going to survive. And Demeter said, I'm too sad. I can't find my daughter Persephone, and I cannot even think about bringing beauty into this world. And Zeus said, I think I know where she is. So he brought Hades up to where he was in the god's realm, and he brought Demeter, and he said, Hades, we know that you have Persephone down there in the underworld. And Hades was like, yeah, and she's loving it. She is the goddess of the dead, and she thinks it's amazing. And Demeter was like, there's no way that's true, because she is beautiful, and she brings beauty into this world, and she needs to be up here with me. And Zeus was faced with a problem. What was he going to do? He needed humans to have a harvest. And also, he didn't want to upset his brother Hades too much because that could get really messy, right, if there was a war. So he said,
A war between humans and gods.
or a war between gods and gods. That's even messier, right, because they have unlimited power.
There was a big war between gods and Titans.
Right, yeah. Yeah, so Zeus knew he did not want that to happen again. So he said, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to let Persephone, if she's truly happy down there, Hades, then we're going to let her stay 6 months down in the underworld with you and 6 months up with her mother, Demeter, in the gods and goddesses realm. And so that was the compromise that they made. And so for 6 months of the year, Demeter is so sad because her daughter is in the underworld. And so everything in our world wilts and dies and rests and goes into hibernation. And then Persephone comes back around this time of year to her daughter Demeter, and there's beauty and there's flowers and there's harvest and everything is growing in this world. And that's what how the Greeks explained the change of the seasons through that story. Mm-hmm.
In one of the stories I read, that's basically the story except different, is that the decision was way harder.
Yes. Yeah. So thank you for bringing that up, because one of the coolest things about these ancient stories is that there's many, many different ways to tell them, and there's many, many, many versions of them out in the world. So even next time I tell it, it'll be a different story, but it'll also be the same story. Chloe? That is one of the questions of the ages. Was she really happy down there with Hades in the underworld? It depends who's telling the story and why they're telling that story. Hold on, 2 more, and then we're going to keep going. Go ahead.
I know that the daughter was not happy down there because she wanted to be with her mother and she missed being with her mother. And this could be just I believe.
Mm-hmm.
My belief, but you can have other beliefs about this. But my friend at school knows a lot about God, so he knows the full story.
Oh, yeah.
And if I ask him, he probably would know the answer, but I don't know because he reads a lot of books. He reads books a lot about a lot of good.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that insight. And I love the way you said this is what I believe, but maybe not everybody believes that. That was really helpful for me. Okay, go ahead.
In the story I read, Persephone was happy down in the underworld, and she started with a name like Corey or something.
Mm-hmm.
But after she got down to the underworld and started liking it, she changed her name.
That's another version of the story, yeah. And I have heard that she has another name, and I'm just going to say it so that people who are listening on YouTube can hear that sometimes she's called Kor. Yeah, so did you have one more thing to say over here? I thought I saw a hand. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, it's actually, there's a whole other myth about why she changed her name, because Persephone means destroyer of men or something, which is a weird name for the goddess of spring, but her original name was Kor. I don't know, there's a whole story about it, I don't remember her name.
I love that, and I'm gonna look further into that. Thank you for sharing that. All right, so now it is time for our offering. So I'm going to pass around the offering basket, and you can also, if you'd like to share some of your resources with the good works of this church, you can text CLUUC and the amount you'd like to donate to the number 73256. That's 73256. Our offering will now be gratefully received.
All right. You guys know so much about Greek mythology. It was very impressive. We could have had a long academic conversation even about those myths. But I'm going to sing the garden song, which some of you guys might know because we're seeing out spring and things starting to grow. And this is a really good song for that, okay? Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I grow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Pulling weeds and picking stones, we are made of dreams and bones. Need a place to call my own, 'cause the time is close at hand. Grain for grain, sun and rain, find my way in nature's chain. Tune my body and my brain to the music from the land. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Plant your rows straight and long, temper them with prayer and song. Mother Earth will make you strong if you give her love and care. Old crow's watching hungrily from his place in yonder tree. In my garden I'm as free as that feathered thief up there. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. All right. Thank you, everybody.
So we have one other part before I dismiss you to your classes. We're going to talk a little bit about other cultures and religions other than the Greeks and the Greek gods and goddesses, because this season, just kind of like the winter season, has a lot of holidays for a lot of different religions. And it just so happens this year that's even more true than some other years, because not all religions follow the same time calendar as the calendar that we use that has 30 or 31 days. And so sometimes holidays move around the calendar that has 30 or 31 days. So over here we have some symbols of different religions. Can you guys see those, kind of? You can move if you can't see them. So we have Islam, Judaism. This one is one of the earth-centered religions. And this is Hinduism, Christianity, and Buddhism. So for each one of these religions, there's a holiday that's happening in this spring season of March and April. So I have a basket full of the holidays. So I'm going to invite each one of you to come up one at a time and pick a holiday, and then we'll see which religion it matches up to. Okay? So let's see. I think we should have enough 6. If you'd like to take one, raise your hand and I'll bring one over to you. Okay. So let's see. Hold on one second. Would you mind doing this part? Sure. Thanks. You can just pass them out, or they can pick them if you want. We have 6? And we have 7 people. So Chloe, why don't you go over there and you two can do that one together. All right, and if you need help reading, it's okay, we can help you read. So who thinks they know where their holiday goes? Come on up. All right. I think they wanted it that way. Whoop. We're just making a whole mess over here. Okay. All right, so why don't we read it out loud, It says some earth-based spirituality. This turning point in the year is also known as the spring quarter point, Ostara, and Festival of Balance and Awakening. And our theme for this month is Awakening. Go ahead, you can put it on there. Nice, thank you. Who's next? You want to come up? Mm-hmm. And do you want to read yours?
Holi. Holi is a popular ancient Hindu festival, also known as the Festival of Spring, the Festival of Colors, or the Festival of Love. The festival celebrates the eternal and divine love of Radha Krishna.
Awesome, thank you. So where do you think that one goes? Very good. Hinduism. And there was a hint in the description, wasn't there? You want to come up, you two? All right. Layla, why don't you stick it up, and Chloe, you can read it. How about that?
In South Korea, the national holiday is also known as Sekoga.
Tanisnil.
In Korea, the date of the birthday of Buddha is determined by the lunisolar calendar. It takes place on the 8th day of the 4th month of the lunar calendar, which means it usually falls in late April or early May.
Thank you, Chloe. Oh, a key word I heard there was that they use a lunar calendar, and that's what I was talking about. Sometimes holidays move around and shift around the calendar that has 30 or 31 days. You want to come on up? So that one is the Buddha's birthday. Do you want to read it, or you would like me to read it? You would like me to read it. Okay, this one is Easter. Easter is a Christian festival and cultural holiday commemorating the resurrection of Jesus from the dead, described in the New Testament as having occurred on the 3rd day of his burial, following his crucifixion by the Romans at Calvary in 30 AD. So where do you think this one goes? Christianity. Look at all these holidays. And you know what? What's cool about this isn't even all of them. There's even more holidays that I couldn't even fit on here that happen around this time of year. Come on up. You want to read it, or would you like me to? Okay. This one says Passover. Passover, also called Pesach, is a major Jewish holiday that celebrates the exodus of the Israelites from slavery in Egypt, which occurs on the 15th day of the Hebrew month of Nisan, the first month of Aviv in spring. So this is another holiday that follows a calendar different from the 30 or 31 day calendar. So this holiday moves around. And that's called Passover. And you put it right in the right place next to Judaism. And the last one? You want me to read it, or would you like to read it?
Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, observed by Muslims worldwide as a month of fasting, prayer, reflection, and community.
Thank you so much. Excellent reading. And where do you think that one goes? And the last one is Islam. Wow, that's so cool. Thank you all for reading those. Did you have something you wanted to share? You were born on Passover? Oh, my oldest daughter's birthday is April 17th, so her birthday is on Easter this year. So that's very cool. Oh, cool. Yes, it is right before Halloween. Wow. So lots of special things happen, and calendars are important. And different people have different calendars that they use to keep time throughout the year and to honor the changes that happen in the earth. And all of these celebrations have to do with awakening, some have to do with rebirth, some have to do with, let's see, what else? the changes of the seasons and the beauty and the color of the springtime. So that's something for us to think about as we head down to our classes after our closing song. So thank you all for participating with us today.
Okay. Woo, that is loud. All right. Let's finish up with This Little Light of Mine. Actually, I think that's not picking me up. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Thank you.
Before we say goodbye, I just want to let you know that I'm going to be putting out our soul care packages in the sanctuary, and there will also be some downstairs on the table as well. So please remember to pick up your soul care package, and if you are watching online, you can come, and there's some in the shed outside, and you can come pick yours up whenever you have a moment. So go in peace, go making peace, bowing to the mystery. Bye-bye.